Okay, the time is now 6:30 and I call this meeting to order. If we could please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're going to start with roll call.
Virginia Allen, Linda Stratton,
Stephanie Walsh.
Naomi Smith.
Kevin Padilla.
And Linda Fedor said she would not be able to make it tonight, so are the Kevin Padilla voting rights. If we could all please speak into the microphone tonight, the air conditioners muffle out the noise for the recording. Just let us know if you need us to speak into that. Okay. So the first thing on our agenda is reviewing and accepting the minutes from the May 5th, 2026 meeting. Then we have any adjustments to previous minutes.
Just that you were chairperson, not vice chairperson. I noticed that one.
That's all I had on there.
Move to accept the minutes.
There, second. Okay. All in favor, please raise your hand.
Aye.
I'm sorry. Then you seconded it, right?
Me? No.
No. Oh, it's enough.
But I would.
Okay. Yay.
I would too.
And then all in favor, please raise your hand. Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Okay, motion carries. Okay. Now we will be moving into citizens' participation. If anyone would like to speak, come to the mic. Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
Who's getting the town financial statement? Okay. I'd be looking for a motion to take a few-minute recess so we can review these documents.
I'll make one to take a brief recess.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, motion carries.
Why did they announce that they're coming out of recess?
And then would you like to present the financial update, just sort of her summary page?
Not really.
No.
But did you already set the mill rate on item number 5?
Oh, no, so we're actually not even on this. No, no citizens.
Make sure no one else, because people came in more for citizen participation.
Yeah, we should still leave it open. If anyone would like to speak, you can still come up and speak.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. There are two.
Well, actually, yes, I have one thing to say. I don't need to come up front. I just would like to thank all the efforts you put in on this year's budget and how you put your due diligence in and you actually looked at everything and you took things into consideration, whether we agree to disagree on something, that's not the matter. But I think you guys gave it a good look over and I thought you did due diligence.
Thank you.
So are we going to discuss an act on the financial report?
We still have public comment open?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. Something that was my concern during the budget process was obviously having 2 of those items onto the capital. So I do plan on bringing that to the Board of Selectmen at the next meeting to talk about pushing that forward, those 2 items. And doing so, we did an exiting poll. I wanted to share that with you. let me just give a little data behind that. There were 172 people that took advantage of the exiting poll. I appreciate all of those people who actually took that time to do so because it gave us some information that I think we needed. What I gave you, each of you members, are all of the polls that had comments written on it. I'm pretty confident that you'll see what the comments are pretty much static throughout. And there are things that were talked about through the budget, into the budget process. Whether they was talking about pay raises, whether they were talking about too high, too low, whether they were talking about, one of them in particular was talking about the ambulance getting $250,000 with the same provisions, I guess. But mostly all of them say the same thing about the elevator and highway lift. So I think that was important because the people actually got to speak, even though they didn't have a chance to, raise their hand and vote on anything. They actually had a chance to speak, so I appreciated the fact that they did that. So that's why I was looking to bring that forward to the Board of Selectmen and eventually to the Board of Finance.
Do you have the actual numbers of what?
172, I get you the actually who voted, who did what on
Yeah,
this.
I'd like to know how many were too high, how many were too low.
Yep, I'll get you that copy.
I mean, you gave us the ones that people were saying were too low or the reasons they didn't like what we did, but
Yep,
I'd like to know what the.
Absolutely.
The small.
those are just the ones that wrote something on it.
Okay.
The rest, the 160 didn't. But I will give you a copy of too highs, too lows, and we separated it out.
I mean, I'm always interested in hearing what the residents have to say. That's why we had the public hearing. I was all for the exiting poll. But there's 12 sheets here of how many people voted, 600 and something was the final vote. How many people came out to vote on Monday?
I think we had 6% of the vote.
I think it was 640 something, if I'm remembering
644.
correctly.
We have 12 comments. The other thing is that I too would like to discuss the lift, and I would like to discuss the elevator. Because as a Board of Finance member, we're volunteers. We don't get paid to sit here. Some of the stuff that myself and my family and my friends had to read on social media, I got more than 12 comments and phone calls and text messages on the vileness of what was being put out there against us. We tried to be very careful with the budget. We tried to be very diligent. We tried to be very courteous and respectful to everybody. I don't understand how come the highway supervisor, if this lift is such an eminent safety issue, did not come when he was invited to come with the department heads, because there were other department heads that came. So I questioned that. I also would like to know when was the last safety certification and safety inspection on that lift, because to question me about safety of our residents or staff, I take that in the highest of seriousness. And we did ask for documentation from you, Mr. Cunningham, on this lift. We also paid courtesy to the highway supervisor to come here and present anything he would like. He did not do that, and nor did he send anyone in his place, nor did he send any report to us. I also find it interesting that last year, if this lift was such a safety issue, why wasn't it on the Capitol and a wood chipper was in place for $90,000? So when did it become such a safety risk? And again, I would like documentation and information on that lift when it became such a safety. So that's one. I have no problem coming back to the discussion on this, but what I have an issue with is false information going out to the public. Information going out to the public that somehow we were reckless, that we're responsible if someone gets hurt. I find it very interesting that this is the first that me as a volunteer on this board heard about this lift, but you and the former selectmen knew about this in 2021, and it only became an eminent emergency and safety issue now. I found that very interesting. And again, I'm going to question that. So those are questions I have. Secondly, the elevator. That is a brand new ramp sitting in front of that town hall. There was ARPA money that was given to this town that took over a year. That money was held before that ramp even started construction. Knowingly, there were multiple reports of safety issues. A whole year it took to start it. Who approved the architectural design of that ramp? Because it was not this Board of Finance, was not me.
So to say that, again, we're being reckless and disregarding an elevator, I don't think so. What I want the public to be made aware of is where my thought pattern is with this. You started a capital strategic committee twice. The first one, you, Mr. Cunningham, did not follow proper procedure in erecting. That's not on the residents, the volunteers, the people. That's on you, okay? You are the chief executive officer of this town. You have certain liability and accountability as much as the volunteers. So if I'm going to be held to a high account, so are you. That's only fair. So, you have a capital committee. Mr. Supranat is here as well tonight. He is another current selectman. The capital strategic is supposed to be reviewing the buildings, maintenance, all infrastructure in this town. We don't know where that committee stands. We don't know what's going to happen going forward. If there are changes, if that committee decides they find grants, has this project even been proposed to them? Is it possible there could be funding for that in the future if we have to change buildings? We don't know. So I could just recklessly make my decision a no to the elevator. My decision was made on, maybe it's a wait to see till next year. Let's give another committee an opportunity to do some work. They've only been erected for 4 months. So that's where I stood on that. But I want my intention to my votes being made on public record tonight, because what went out on social media by certain elected officials, supporters, it was vile. And I would like to also address Mr. and Mrs. Gagne. You were at a meeting last night, and Mrs. Gagne, before she left the room, said to one of the people serving on the charter, if you want respect, you have to give it. If you want us to turn on our microphones, the way you approached us tonight, Mr. Gagne, is exactly the way it should have been approached from the beginning. But when we got yelled at the last meeting, Mrs. Gagne, and then you put what you put on your watchdog media about us, hiding, not being transparent. I've been attending meetings since 2015. I too fought for all-day referendums and transparency. I'm all about the public. So I took offense to that. If you would like respect, please give respect. I'm good.
So, can I make a comment? If the lift is unsafe, it needs to be red tagged and put out of service. If it's truly a safety issue, it should not be used. When you first brought this up, this is the first I've heard that it was not safe. I didn't know that lift was not safe. If it's not safe, it cannot be used. In my job, if I have a piece of equipment that's not safe, I'm not allowed to use it. I am the final person that decides if that piece of equipment is safe. And if it's not safe, I can't use it. I am liable. That even goes to a step ladder. If a step ladder is damaged and I'm using it, I have to tag that ladder and put it out of service. A lift is a lot more serious than a ladder. Ultimately, we're not there to certify the lift to tell you the condition of the lift. If it's not safe, it's got to be put out of service. A red tag needs to be put on it. And we need to know about it.
Can I reply? Absolutely. Naomi, if you have a problem with something that's put on social media, I would say address it with those people. I do not direct them to say anything. I am separate from them.
I've on the public record, Kevin.
Yep.
It's been going on for many, many years now.
And you need to address that with those people. This is a Board of Finance meeting, and I'd like to address things with Board of
I
Finance.
addressed everything with the Board of Finance. I addressed why I voted the way I voted, my intent. I voted on the things that I have observed as a taxpayer and a resident in this town. And I spoke what I needed to speak, Kevin, as you do in your meetings, as you do in town.
All right, so let's address the issue about the lift. This year, this fiscal year, it's been starting to break down more and more. That's why it was on the 5-year capital to replace it. As simple as that. At this moment, right now, it is no longer operable. Okay? That's why I'm going to go to the Board of Selectmen to ask their request to bring it forward to you, the Board of Finance, and to allow it to go to a vote. Okay? That's it.
That's fine. Just please bring us some information on what you want or what the lift's going to be.
And that's what I thought I did during the budget process.
You brought us $200,000 for a truck lift. And like I said, when I Googled a truck lift, I could see a lift that would lift a highway truck, a 4-post lift. The price I saw was completely different than what he was saying.
And you heard me say it was not a 4-post lift. This is an in-ground lift.
can't.
I'll bring you all the data. Matter of fact, I'll be bringing the data to the board of selectmen.
Please do, because I think to put an in-ground lift is not a good idea at this point, environmentally. I'm kind of surprised that anybody even saw us in-ground lift right now, to be honest.
That's your opinion about that. I'm just going to tell you, I'm looking for an in-ground lift.
I'd rather just have documentation that it is no longer safe, it's been inspected, and what a professional estimate would be on a brand new one. I want some documentation.
Okay.
I mean, wasn't OSHA here not too long ago? You stated to this board that OSHA had been here.
Absolutely.
Did they look at this lift?
They did. They cited issues with the lift.
So we should have an OSHA report that verifies that, correct?
Yep.
Okay, well, that can be brought to us then, please. I'm requesting that. Do you want to say anything?
That's it.
Thank you. And then before, would anyone else like to speak for citizen participation? Okay, just want to make sure before we move on. So before we move on to number 5 for setting the rate, I wanted to go down to number 9, and we're looking to remove the open municipal auditor RFPs because that was already done due to the timeline. It had to be done by 2 o'clock today. So the selectman and the finance director were able to do that. So I'd just be looking for a motion to remove line 9 from our agenda.
I'll make that motion to remove that number 9 from the agenda.
Thank you. Do you have a second? Thank you. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. Motion carries. Okay. So next we'd be moving to number 5, setting the mill rate for 2026 and 2027. And this is we only need 2 separate motions for this. So the first motion would be, if I have a motion to approve the $1,440,000 from the fund balance to offset the mill rate as presented by the Board of Selectmen. I have that one. Need a copy of it. It's the top one.
I'd like to make a motion to approve 1.4 million in fund balance to offset the mill rate as presented by the Board of Selectmen.
Do we have a second?
I just have one question. Is that mill rate actually lower than what we were projecting to begin with?
Yeah, because we got the state revenue that actually dropped it even lower than we were originally planning. Yep.
I will second that motion.
Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, motion carries. Okay, in the second part, I would be looking for a motion to set the mill rate at 20.56 for the budgeted fiscal year of 2027, with the due dates of July 1st, 2026 and July 1st, 2027, as written in the charter, and motor vehicle supplemental due date of January 1st, 2027.
So moved. With that.
Yep. Okay. All in
I'll
favor,
second.
please raise your hand.
2 seconds.
20.5. I do not need that. Do you need that back? You need that. This one. Our mill rate is set. And now we would discuss and act upon the financial reports as presented by the Board of Selectmen. And then Lisa let us know that she was not going to be able to make it tonight ahead of time. She had a really important family matter to deal with. But has got us all our paperwork together.
So I would politely ask that if you have any questions concerning anything with the paperwork, just to bring them to the attention of Lisa, and she can answer them directly.
Should we table this till next month then?
Yes. We definitely can do that.
I'll make a motion to table the town side financials till the next
I'll second that.
meeting.
Got a motion and a second? All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, motion passes. Hold up. Now, it would be discussed and act upon the financial reports as presented by the Board of Education.
Hello. There are a couple of new things in my report this month that I want to draw your attention to. As you can see on that first page, there are a couple additional object codes that we did bring to your attention because they are over budget. The first one is our paraeducator substitute account line. We have had some vacant paraeducator positions along with paraeducators out on leave, so we have had an increase in substitutes that are covering those positions. We will use the funds from the vacant paraeducator positions to offset the substitute line. We are expecting it to be about $11,000 over by the end of the fiscal year. So right now it's just over by $300. The next one that I previously brought up at a meeting is our unemployment object code. So at the last meeting I had said that we were going to be getting our fourth quarter invoice in. We did get that in, and it is currently over budget by just over $11,000. That does complete our invoices that will be paid from that account code for this fiscal year. So we will be using funds from our 200 object code series to cover that overage. The next one is our purchase people services, which is $323. That one's currently over by just over $13,000. This is from the speech and language contracted services. When we have two open vacant speech and language pathologist positions. If those positions remain vacant, we have to contract the services with an outside vendor, and that cost can go up to about $103 an hour, I think was the amount. So that one is over budget right now. We do expect it to continue to be over budget because we are still continuing servicing our students with speech and language services. But we will be using the funds from those vacant positions to cover it, along with other certified salary accounts. The next one is our utilities and our heat and energy. They are not over budget right now, but it's something that I do want to draw your attention to that we are currently looking at. Because our usage has been higher, Eversource charges are continuing to increase, so that is an area by the end of June I do expect to be over budget. And then lastly is our object code 560, which I brought up at previous meetings, but unfortunately we did get notification from the state that they did recalculate after the March 1st submission, which I've been talking about for our excess cost grant reimbursement. And unfortunately the amount that we budgeted to receive decreased. So as much as we were hoping to expect to get more funds, after all of the school districts and everyone applied for that grant, it actually decreased about $54,000 than what they were projecting us to receive after the December 1st submission. So we are continually looking at that account and making sure that we're able to cover it with the funds that we currently have. The only other thing that I want to mention in that report for the 2% set-aside account, that balance, I did speak with Lisa actually today, and we will be making that transfer because we were able to pay for the unit on top of our Shepherd Hill cafeteria. So that account balance will go to zero for next month, and then we're looking, she'll be performing the transfer from our unexpended funds from fiscal year 25 audit into that account. For grants, I'm not sure if I mentioned it at the last meeting, we did get a new grant just recently for water bottle filler stations. So our facilities director did get them in. We will be installing 2 in our Moosup Elementary School and 2 in our high school over the next month or two when they get a chance. And there will only be about 5 left in district for us to replace. Next for our insurance. The month of March is reconciled. The survival ratio is at 2.31 months. That number is fluctuating quite frequently because we are no longer looking at the survival ratio as our main point of looking at the healthiness of the account. We know that as of June 30th, we have to meet the reserve target of 16.5%. We are currently over that amount by just over $400,000. So we are sitting in a good spot right now, but we're waiting for our April, May, and June bank reports. Me and Lisa meet once a month to go over those bank reports, both from the town and the school side, making sure that we are going to meet that target as of June 30th. And then lastly, for the school lunch account, I just want to keep you updated on the negative food service account balance. That is $30,261.20. And again, we will look to cover that overage with a line item transfer in June. Something new in my report is this report here, the monthly facilities report. I decided to put a little bit of new information on this report because there have been quite a few discussions regarding capital improvement. We really wanted to highlight some of the areas that are in need for the school districts. So I know Mr. Benton presented at that Capital Strategic Planning Committee our priorities. And I felt it necessary to inform the full Board of Education and Board of Finance of our highest priorities that were presented at that meeting. So in this report, you'll just see some of the capital improvement projects that we're either completing right now, are current, or ones that we're looking to complete in the next month or two, or possibly using our 2% account, and then also items in the future that we're looking to complete. And that is it.
Question for you.
Yeah?
The air compressor in the boiler room,
Yes.
is that for the heating system? Do you have pneumatics in there still?
What school are you looking at?
Is that the high school?
High school.
It says air compressor in boiler room, main
Yes.
compressor failed.
So that compressor runs our wood shop and our shop areas?
Okay, so it's not a heating system, it's.
No, it's not. Nope.
It's just placed in the boiler room.
Yes, and we have 2 compressors that run those wood shop and those shop areas.
That's fine, I just want to make sure
Okay.
I have to keep up.
Yes. Nope, the main compressor is failed. We're using the backup compressor now, so it's fine for now, but since one compressor is down, we would be looking to replace that unit.
I think you're still coming around.
Yes.
1.5?
Yep, our facilities director has been working with all of our lead custodians as we're performing our spring capital walkthrough meetings, making sure that we're working on getting quotes from the vendors to make sure that we're using as accurate as possible quote prices when we're looking at projects. Thank you. Anyone have any other questions?
With all the shortfalls you're looking at, do you think you'll have enough line item transfers?
At this point we do. The biggest question is the insurance, because every month when we get that report in, it's kind of a question mark until we open it, because we just don't know how the claims will come in that month, how the credits will come in that month. As it stands right now, I feel comfortable. It's just every month is a new surprise when we get that report. Anything else, Sean?
No, I'm good.
Great, thank you. Okay. Now, number 8 is Board of Finance Bylaw Committee update. I just always want to put it on the agenda. If you guys have anything you want
Madam
to...
Chair, you didn't vote on that.
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you.
I'll make a motion to accept the Board of Education's report.
I'll second it.
I guess so.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay, now we will move on to the Board of Finance Bylaw Committee. If you have anything that you want to add? I know it's all a work in progress.
It's all a work in progress. You know, we're plugging along slowly, and I think we've made great progress. And I'm not going to suggest to you a specific time frame that we'll have it all done. There's a lot of cross-referencing and back-referencing that needs to happen. So that's where we're at this point.
The other thing is we're on hold until we get more information on the capital non-recurring. Because we can't read anything in the bylaws for the capital plan until we have clarification on the CNR and how that's going to work in case we have to put anything into the bylaws.
Yep.
So that put us on hold, and we haven't met, and we're just waiting on Lisa for some updates on it. And, I agree with Virginia, we just don't have a completed date yet.
Okay. The next would be number 10 is discussing and awarding a bid for RFP for the municipal auditors. In this, we had just got the information right before the meeting, so I don't know if you wanted to speak on anything, Kevin.
If you wouldn't mind.
Of course not. And then the importance of, I know Lisa said it was very important to make a decision tonight, and if you could expand on that for us.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hopefully everybody has a copy of the bid open. Okay. In the bid open, it talks about how we had two proposals. We had thought we were going to get three, but they backed out. They just didn't have enough time to put it in. So you'll see that the two that are there are CLA, which was a bid for $95,000. And then there's also some numbers written underneath that, and that would be for year 2 and year 3. So that is what's been presented to us from CLA. We then rate them. We talk about how, compared with the bids, which one looks better for the cost competitiveness. The second company was the company we're currently engaged with, which is CBiz. Their rating was obviously higher because they had a lower number for their bid. So I'll read both of them. CLA was $95,000 for the first year, $98,750 for second year, $102,500 for the third year. Then you have CBiz, which was $67,000. Second year was $68,500, and the final year was $70,000. So comparing them, that's obvious why you have the numbers there between 35 and 50 as the ratings. The second one was the contractor experience. In looking through their portfolios, and you do have some copies, 3 for one company and 1 for another. But we're looking at the contractor experience. You'll note that with the CLA, they have the bigger cities and the bigger communities, so that's why they have much more experience with the numbers. That's what we saw through both packets. It wasn't bad that CBiz has others, but they have a lot of them all over the place. They have them in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, only a few in Connecticut. So that's why the rating was 20 to 10 there. References in past performance. I think that we have awarded the 15 to CLA because of their past performance. And I would note that the 5 for the current performance for CBiz is because of what we've seen over the past few years. It's not a bad company, and I can tell you what Lisa said in a comment that she said as we were at the table and walking away. She believes that she can work with CBiz because over the last few months that she was working with them, they got much more aggressive completing their tasks. So that's what her comment was. The other two, the ability and completedness of the proposal, not the work that they do. So that's why you have the ratings. Honestly, what she said was, this is so close, it's really up to the Board of Finance to decide what they want to do. Obviously, you have a big difference in the numbers. You're talking almost $30,000.
Yeah, $30,000 per year.
Yeah.
So it's a 3-year contract.
Yep. So that's the background of what happened today.
And then, what's the importance of us pushing it through to make a decision tonight?
Because we have to start working that person right away. We have to start giving files and turning them over and start working right away.
How long, I know CBiz, they changed their name, they were another name before. How many years have we been?
We were thinking about that today. I think it was like either 6 or 7 years. And if you remember, in this type of a world, you don't want to do more than 4 or 5, that's it.
So, unfortunately, we might be better off going with the higher one this time because we need somebody new. We need new eyes on the books.
No, I brought that up to Lisa because I know that was our reasoning for really wanting to push this year. And she said because having a new town financial director and an education business partner, then that would show like an auditing company or for grants and things that there is someone new looking at these documents. So she wasn't as concerned about keeping the auditor for as many years.
It also makes a difference on your bond rating. You got to make sure that you have a decent company that works on it. I would ask to have 2 other comments made. One would be, we're the town. We have given you our input. Unfortunately, you didn't get a chance to look at the proposals, but I wanted to ask if you had any input at all to give any guidance for the board.
Do you know the companies that we're talking about?
You would be more than happy to take a recess if you would like to look that over if you haven't had an opportunity.
I don't believe you have time for a recess that long. You haven't been part of the process or seen the RFP or met and talked to Lisa about any part of it. So the town issued the RFP. At this point, I wouldn't feel comfortable making any comments on it. We'll work with whoever the town puts in front of us. We're confident that our data is there.
Do any of you have, the two companies, it's CLA and CBIZ. Do you have any, have you ever worked with CLA in the past? Either one of you?
I worked with different auditing professionals that
Okay.
Just an FYI, I actually currently work with CBIZ for my employer. We had to put the screws to them a couple of times to make sure that we get our financials appropriately as we'll have to do, I have a feeling, based on our own documents and governing documents and things like that, so.
Which we've been doing.
Yeah.
We've had to do that this year.
And remember, we went, how many extra months previous year?
In the past, we've had some extensions.
Yep.
Kevin, wasn't, the auditing company that we used before the same? Did they just change names?
That's all, yeah, that's why he was asking the question, how long have we worked with them?
I'm really going with the whole auditing company.
Kevin, did you give us what your opinion is? Do you have a preference?
My opinion is basically it's a toss of a coin. You know you get quality when you're talking about working with CLA because they have worked with larger municipalities. Haven't heard anything bad about them at all. Familiarity with CBIZ, yes, but then what did you get over the past few years? So that's why we both said it's a toss of a coin and it would go to your board.
How much do we have in the budget for?
Over 107.
Yeah.
So either way you go, you're
Either way, we
okay.
have enough to cover it, because we thought it was gonna be more expensive.
Do we have a proposal from CLA?
You have, yes.
There's a copy over here.
CLA has 3 copies, and, I'm sorry, CLA has 1 copy, CBIZ gives 3. So you probably can find it on pages 4, 5, 6 in that area, what the breakdown is.
Lisa had said that, with this new contractor, and or the way we put out the RFP was, it wasn't completed in time, that there's actually $100 a day charge to the auditing company now, for being late, if it's,
And there's your breakdown right there in that yellow.
My question is, how come there wasn't communication between the town finance department and the school?
It's really the town that hires through this board.
we're just one entity into within the town that participates.
I was trying to be polite by getting some input if they had heard anything bad about either of the two, but we already worked with one, so.
Does the CLA proposal actually include any kind of fees should they run past?
That's what they were just talking about, the $100 a day if you're passed.
Is that CLA?
Oh, it was in the RFP.
Yep.
It was in the RFP.
Oh, okay, so it's both.
So either would have both on them.
Okay, okay. All right.
Company size-wise, do you know anything about that?
Unfortunately, no. Take a look at their portfolio and the towns that they work with, like West Hartford. They're pretty big towns.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure they're able to handle us and whatever they're working on now.
Yeah, sometimes the big dog gets all the attention and another one gets attention.
I know Lisa, I talked to her about that, she said that they were very comfortable in being able to take on our town. There was another company that, wasn't active, that she had reached out to and tried to put in a bid for us, and they were not comfortable. They said, at least for the first year, they wouldn't have been able to,
Because they're so busy.
yeah.
I said, that must be nice to have so much work. You can actually say, no, thank you, not interested. That must be nice.
At least it was an honest answer because they don't want to do anything bad for our town.
I'd rather have that, that's,
Yep.
yeah, certainly, yeah.
Well, what's everybody's thoughts?
I
We're
think-
going back and forth with us still here.
I think it's important to have fresh eyes. We have a new finance director who's doing a phenomenal job. I think it would be a great idea to have fresh eyes for an audit while she's weeding through all of the back information that she has. I have no opposition whatsoever to going with the CLA. That's my personal opinion.
I agree with that, so thank you. So you're making a motion for them again?
Go to make sure in the motion that you also include the dollar value, so that make it official.
We just have to state which year to put.
Yeah, that would be the
Okay,
best.
so that whoever makes the motion, that's on
So-
this page.
What'd you say we have in there now? We have 104,000?
$107,600.
Yeah, so you are,
Yeah, we have enough in there actually to cover the third year, too. I mean, as far as if we kept that same number going forward for 3 years.
But we're not voting on all 3 years.
no, but you're approving the contract for those 3 years.
Okay, I want clarification.
Yeah, we're just awarding, what we'll be motioning tonight is to award the contract to CLA for a 3-year contract with this amount of money.
Yeah. So we can carry, basically we can carry that number for 3 years, that same number for the next 3 years.
Yeah, we'll know what it's gonna be next year.
You good with them for a motion?
I don't know.
Yeah, you ready?
Yes.
Ready? You good with it? Sure. You want me to do it? If you want.
Okay.
I don't want to step on anybody's toes.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to accept the bid from CLA. First year at $95,000, second year at $98,750, and third year at $102,500 for the town's annual audit.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, motion carries. Okay, and that is all other than our adjournment.
I'll move that.
I'll second.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. Okay, motion carries.